welcome. Welcome to our channel, folks. We are going from Chesley to Vancouver, which is like 4,500 kilometers round trip, and we thought we'd document it just to show you exactly the things that we experience, and hopefully you can follow us along on our trip. I'm Barry, this is my wife Sharon, and she's the person who booked everything and planned the whole trip. I just drive. So let's go. Right, so here's the binder, here's the map. So we've got our parks passes. You're going to need those if you're going to stay in the parks. We got the parks, Ontario parks, and we got the federal one, which is the national parks. Yeah. Here's our map, and that's the map for today. So we are right. So
we're heading towards Sault Ste today.
So we're going to go up through Blind River, and we're going to go all through these. I think it's the Trans-Canada Highway we're going to follow all the way up, and we're going to end up in the Sault today. We haven't got anything booked, not for today. So they said it's going to rain, so we thought we'd get a motel. But yeah, that's our map. So
if it doesn't rain, we'll get a campground and we'll camp.
Yeah. So if you're going up the 400 north, good place to stop and have some lunch. French River Provincial Park. They have a visitor center right there. You can go in there and see the history of the French River and how it was used as a trading route way before we had vehicles and cars and all manner of stuff. Like, look at the engineering on it. It's kind of funky, eh? So now we're going to go down to the longest snowmobile bridge in Ontario. And there's some information on the French River. Stretches for 110 kilometers from Lake Nipissing to Georgian Bay. The river flows through an ancient fault system that was here long before the glaciers and their meltwaters shaped the landscape into a broad bedrock plain. Awesome. Like, we've been here quite a few times before, going up and down, so this is kind of a nice restful stop. In the winter, snowmobiles will cross this bridge from one part of the trail to the next, and we got the new highway built over there and the bypass, so a lot of visitors bypass this extraordinary route. That's the old bridge that used to be part of the 400. Now we got the 4-lane highway above, and on this side we have the French River, and I think the French River, they say, is the borderline between Northern Ontario and Southern Ontario. Maybe wrong. I always get it mixed up, whether it's the French or the Spanish River. But either way, one of them is the gateway to the north. I'm sure somebody down there in the comments will prove me wrong, or tell me right, whichever. Now this is a popular spot for hikers and canoeists who venture off into the Ontario wilderness. They'll come here and launch the canoe and off they go for a several day worth of adventure into the bush. And probably the only way you can access it. So as you can see, we're about halfway across the bridge now. The bridge is moving. I can feel it now. It's side to side, it's swaying. That's cool. And here's the other side of the bridge. And it's an awesome snowmobile adventure over here. The trails are fantastic. So if you're looking to come up in the winter, when we have snow, of course, we haven't had much for a couple of years, but this is a great place for snowmobiling. And the trail would go off down there, down that way. And here is the here's the map itself. So they tell you it's unlawful to jump from this bridge. Well, if you've seen how far it is down below, I don't think you would jump either. Oh, well. So that's the bridge, and it's actually called the William Small Bridge. And if we have a look down here, you'll see this remarkable bridge was built by the French River Snow Voyagers Snowmobile Club in 2005. It's the largest snowmobile bridge of its kind in the world. I was wrong. I thought it was Ontario. It's the world. 512 feet long, 12 feet wide, and is 90 feet over the water. No wonder you won't jump off the top. It can carry a large, heavy trail grooming machine or over 100 snowmobiles at a time. Fantastic. Awesome. And that's the visitor center. It's a shame that the trees are there. You can't really see across the river, but it's quite the structure. Quite the structure. So this is the French River Visitor Center. Make sure you take a stop on your way up north. It used to be very popular in the sense that a lot of people used to stop here on their way north. However, because of the new road, a lot of people don't now. They kind of bypass it, which is a shame. So as we leave this wonderful place, there's lots of hikes here to do. So if you've got a lot of time, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like from Parry Sound is maybe an hour or so to an hour and a half down the road. Sudbury is like an hour north. So it's kind of in the middle. But you'll notice that when we get around here, there's lots and lots of hikes to do. If you like being out in the bush, there are lots and lots of places to hike. But it's a wonderful place. It's not busy at all. It's a Friday, and I thought it would be a lot more busier than this. But I'm going to take you down to have a look at a nice section down here where they built a teepee, and we should get to see the teepee. So this is the teepee that they built. So there's a stage, And I think they'll do performances here later on. And this is honouring the canine. Oh, it's your dog park. Excellent. And so, here's the teepee. And if you've never been in a teepee before, let's go have a look. In the door we go. So, it's quite an amazing structure. Fireplace in the center, and poles all the way around, and they kind of interlink at the top, held together. That'd probably be animal sinews they would have used back then, but this is quite a modern one. I think it's just for tourists, this one, but it's, as you can see. And then what they would do in the winter, that big gap around the corner there at the bottom, they would pack that with snow. I've seen that in Alaska, and that was kind of cool. So yeah, that's the that's inside the teepee. Oh. So we took a stop at the loony, the biggest loony in Ontario. Loony.